Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to CACFP's Let's Learn. We are going to be reviewing today timesheets and labor transfers. So thank you for joining me. As usual, we will begin with the non-discrimination statement. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. We begin all of our trainings with our non-discrimination statement. So in preparation for our meeting today, please make sure that your computer is muted. I do have everybody on mute. Make sure that your cameras stay off because that's going to prevent any connectivity issues for you. And if you have any questions throughout this presentation, please type that in on the chat. I am monitoring the chat as we go along. So that's how I will know if you have any questions. So today, we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. General guidelines for timesheets and labor transfers. The actual salary for the cook, okay, or for the CACFP admin is to be paid from the general account. The amounts that you pay the cook and admin may be different than what you can reimburse. Okay, these are just the general guidelines, and we are going to hit on all of these bullet points as we go through the actual training today. So what you're allowed to transfer is determined by your approved facility and budget applications in the CNP system. Your reimbursements for labor should be transferred monthly. Okay, you should be, if you're going to transfer any labor, you should be doing that monthly. Reimbursements past 90 days can no longer be transferred. Okay, reimbursements cannot be made for prior fiscal year expenditures. And the amount of money transferred to the general account is documented by the timesheets. That's their purpose. And labor transfers can only be made for CACFP duties. So labor budgets. This is what defines what we can transfer. Okay. This is, and if you'll see the little red ball floating on your screen, this is your food service staffing pattern. Okay. This is on your facility budget. This is where you have put in your cook labor. You've chosen the source of child care funds. You've stated the hours of day that they're going to work and the salary per hour. And this is their annualized amount. And on the first page of the budget application, this is the admin staffing pattern. Okay. So you would name that person, you would choose the source of child care funds and how many hours a day and what you're willing to pay. Okay. For that. Now, you might have the best cook in the entire world. Okay. You might want to pay them $1 million an hour. Okay. If that's the case, I would like to apply for that job, but you determine what you want to pay them. Okay. This is what the program can reimburse. Okay. So one of the bullet points that we had said earlier, what you can reimburse and what you actually pay them might be different. Okay. So this is what the program can reimburse, and it might be different than what you're actually paying them, and you're going to pay them out of your general account. The same thing goes for this salary per hour again here for your admin. These are our labor budgets. Okay. And this is where it's calculated. This is on page 2 of the budget application. So for the entire year, you have a food service labor budget of $17,400 for this example. Okay. And this is just an example I pulled. And this is where you're going to find your annual amounts for your administrative labor costs. These are the maximum amounts, and you cannot go over them. Of course, you don't have to transfer that much. Okay, you can always transfer less, or you can not transfer any at all if you don't have the funds for that during that month. But you can never transfer more. Okay. Let's go live. Where do we get these timesheets? This is our CNP website. Okay. This is where all of the information about our programs are found. You're going to click right here on CACFP, and you're going to click on resources. The first screen under resources is documentation of expenditures. And this is where you're going to find the sample employee timesheet. Is everybody seeing the timesheet? One person hit me up in the chat and let me know that you guys are seeing this timesheet. Yes, thank you, Jamie. Yes. Okay, perfect. This is the employee timesheet. This timesheet serves as the receipt, okay, for your transferring the money from the CACFP account to your general account. Okay. This timesheet has to be filled out in its entirety. You're going to start off with the employee name and title, okay, your sponsor name, and then the fiscal year. So this is one single sheet, and it's meant to go for all year. Okay. So whatever you're budgeted for, okay, and you're going to have the rates that you're budgeted for, that you're approved in the budget down here at the bottom. Okay. And you have to at least pay minimum wage. So that $6 an hour is not applicable anymore. Okay. You have to at least pay minimum wage for these jobs. And you're going to start putting in the month what these individuals worked. Okay. However many hours. So I think in the example that I've shown in the previous slides, they were approved for 5.5 hours a day. So whatever you're approved for, however many hours a day that you are approved for, you're going to enter them in the dates up here. Now, you can't, you're only going to have a cook on the days that you're open. So this excludes weekends, this excludes holidays, or any other days that you're open. Also, the CACFP does not pay overtime. It doesn't pay holiday pays. And it doesn't pay bonuses or anything else that you might decide to do out of your general account. So it's just straight time. Okay. And it's the actual time that they worked. So you will see on here like 8/8, and then the X's are for the weekends. Okay. Or the day, and the holidays are for the days that you're closed. Okay. You can either put an H or you can put the holidays. We know in the CACFP that this is per month, okay? Because we go by a month. At the end of the month, we submit our claims. So we basically on a monthly calendar. And I know you guys, most everybody pays for every 2 weeks. And I know sometimes that crosses the month. That's fine. Okay, that's why we have you pay your individuals out of your general account. But since we close the month we go by a calendar month, this paper does go by a calendar month. And that's why we require you to use this form instead of your timesheets that you're using for your facilities. Okay. Because this does go by the month. So this is a required document that you would need. And you are required to use this particular sheet, not any other one. Okay. Because this has all of our required data on it. And it goes by the calendar month. So you are going to add up the total hours of the month. You're going to multiply it times the rate of pay that you're approved for. these would be the maximum amounts that you're allowed to transfer from the CACFP account to the general account. Now, what happens if you are unable, you don't have that money this month? Okay. You might not be able to transfer that money every single month. And for a lot of our new centers, a lot of our new sponsors, you might not be able to transfer that money until you get a couple reimbursement checks back from us. Okay. So this is the maximum amount that you're allowed to transfer. And of course, you do not have to transfer that that money if it's not there or if it's not in the best interest of your business to do so. Okay. Once you get money built up in your account, if you can transfer it every month, please go ahead and do so. That is a best practice. However, we do not allow sponsors to say, for example, try to transfer once a year and try to transfer the whole $17,000. That is not okay. You cannot do that. You're only allowed to go back for 3 months to transfer if you were not able to do it every month. Okay. A lot of times, if individuals are late submitting claims and they have to, or later submitting claims and they have to submit 2 claims at one time, that's what allows them to go back for the 90 days and transfer some labor. However, that is not a best practice. We don't like seeing that. We'd rather you guys get your claims in on time because we do know that you guys need that money. Okay. And we want to make sure that we're providing everything to the children that we need to be providing. So again, this is the example timesheet. It is found on our website. Do I have any questions on this? Is everybody using this exact timesheet? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Katrina Roberts, this timesheet is required. This is a required record. It is not in kid care. Okay. You have to use this one because it goes by a calendar month, not how you're paying, not your pay cycles. And it conforms, it's from October through July. It's current with our fiscal year, and it includes all of the required components. So when we have this timesheet, on your bank statements and on your in kid care, we're going to see transfers for labor. Okay. So when we look at this timesheet, this timesheet acts exactly like a Walmart receipt or a receipt for food. Okay. Because we can add this up, we can cross check the math, and we know we can expect to see check number 1429, it was redeposited, or an automatic transfer from the CACFP account in these maximum amounts. For example, $528 on this timesheet. Okay, that allows us, that satisfies our rules for CACFP, that satisfies our review process and the intent, and we can move along. Okay. Some questions, Ms. Kovarick. This wouldn't apply if a contracted food service provider is paying staff, not the center directly, correct? It may, because if when you do your CACFP applications, when you do your when you set how, if you would like to use some of that money, some of your budgeted money for staff, then you could transfer that into your general account, and it would offset with the contract, because that contracted staff, they're charging you for all that labor. Excuse me. So that would offset some of that money. So Miss Melanie, you write the check. You don't do many transfers, that's fine. You can write a check and just redeposit it into the account. And Miss Phillips, what about your school district payroll system? Ms. Phillips, what type, are you a Head Start? What type of sponsor are you? Head Start, I knew it. Okay, so you are going to have, again, you're going to have the same sponsor, facility, and budget applications. And of course, all of your employees are going to be paid out of your school district. It's just that when you put in, when you request some of the labor to be paid from CACFP funds, then those funds can be transferred into whatever account that your school district uses for payroll, and it's going to offset some of those payroll costs. And Ms. Roberts, that's why you asked, because you're a city government again and a Head Start, and you use ExecuTime, then that's fine. You are going to, again, you're going to keep these timesheets, and from the CACFP line items that you guys are dealing with, your accountants are going to deduct up to that much money, the maximum amount per month, and they're going to apply it to the labor that they have paid. Does that make sense? Ms. Phillips, Ms. Kathleen? Okay, Ms. Roberts? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If there's anyone that needs any further clarity, or you would like to talk into any more, if you will get any more specifics, that's my phone number that I just typed into the chat. Oh, I apologize. That was not to everyone. Let me do this again. That's the office phone number to everyone. So if I can be, it's a lot easier to talk when we get down to the kind of the nitty gritty. I don't mind talking specifics with each one of your in each of your specifications. How about my CACFP? How about my daycare and early learning centers? Have I explained this to where you guys can understand it? Are there any questions from, thank you, Ms. Araby? Any questions from our centers out there? Okay, good deal. Awesome. You guys are a little bit easier than our Head Starts and our government and some of the school systems that have this. Okay, perfect. So everybody's going to be keeping this exact timesheet. This is the sample timesheet, which is under resources right here. And then if you click on this other one, form, it's going to download right up here in your downloads. It'll look a little bit different, but if you print it out, and you can do some different views in Excel, because it is an Excel document. You can print this out and it's going to print out and look exactly like the example that I just showed you. Okay. And as usual, after this presentation today, give me a couple of days. I will have this recording and I'll have the slide deck and I'll have an example. I'll have the example timesheet and the blank timesheet up on the Louisiana Fit Kids website where you guys can just print it from there to make it easier on you. Okay, so everybody's on Kid Care. How do we document our labor in Kid Care? This should look familiar to everyone. I'm logged into Kid Care, and I'm gonna go live. So, and this is a test account in Kid Care. Okay, so on 9/24/24, I'm going to transfer some labor. I'm going to pull down, and if you don't have a category that says labor, okay, all you're going to do is add that category, and I'm always going to do quick entry, right? Never itemized entry. Always make sure that when you're adding your receipts and entering your receipts into Kid Care and your expenses, you're using quick entry, not itemized entry. You don't need an invoice. If you wanted to put a description that says labor, okay, and you're going to transfer the total amount of labor for that month. So if it's $545, you're going to come down here. You're going to make sure that it matches. You're going to put it under your food category. Oh, I'm so sorry. Why would I be putting that under food? I'm going to put that under labor. Did you guys catch that? I'm going to be putting that under labor. That was a test. I wanted to see if you guys were going to call me out on that. Melanie, I knew you would catch that. Oh, there are a bunch of you on here. That's what happens when you're trying to read the chat and read your phone and catch up and look at 4 different screens that are opened up on here. Oh, you guys are fun. So we're going to enter this under labor. We're going to make sure that our total is 0, and all we're going to do is hit save. That's how you document your labor every month in Kid Care. Okay. And this is very, very important. This is because when we come in to your facilities for technical assistance visits or for reviews, we're gonna ask you about cost of food used, okay? Because we're gonna want to make sure that that's at least 50%. Okay, that you're spending at least 50% on food. So we're going to want those in there and all of your expenses entered into Kid Care. Miss Miller, you were thinking you were doing it wrong? Oh my goodness. Nope, you're right. You're right. I was just trying to trip you guys up. And I was thinking about another question somebody was asking. Miss Joyce, when documenting labor, will it affect the percentages for cost of food used? Yes, ma'am, it will. Okay. Because you're going to want to, because the money for that labor, okay, it's just like for non-food supplies. Non-food supplies will also affect the percentages of food cost. Because we're weighing food cost against against your total reimbursement for the month. And that total reimbursement is used to pay all of your expenses. So again, just like if you're paying some pest control every month, you're going to go into Kid Care and input your pest control expenses. Miss Lewis, are you supposed to enter labor for the cook and the admin in Kid Care every month. What if you haven't done it? Do you have to go back and do it? No, ma'am, you don't have to go back and do it. Let's just start doing it from this point forward. Okay, it is going to change, your cost of food use report a little bit, but let's start doing it from this month forward. Okay, because we don't want to go back. You've already submitted claims and everything. In kid care, you certainly can do that. But if you just start doing it from this month forward, that would be fine. How about any other questions? So again, when you receive this presentation, these links will be live for you. Okay. This link right here is going to take you to the Kid Care training page. Okay, about expenses. So, and you're gonna watch the little, it'll take you exact right there to the little videos that you can watch if you have any other questions once today's training ends. So let's review. Okay, the actual salary for the cooks and the admin, okay, is to be paid from the general account. Yes. Okay, you're going to transfer those amounts to the general account and you're going to pay things from the general account, or or if you're a larger operation or a nonprofit operation, they'll be paid from that line item account. The amounts you pay the cook and the admin may be different than what you can reimburse. Okay, we touched on that a little bit. Where the CACFP account may not be able to reimburse the full salary that you want to pay someone. It just may be able to supplement that. What you're allowed to transfer, again, is determined by your approved facility and budget applications in the CACFP system. You can transfer less. You may not be able to transfer the whole amounts every month. Okay, because that may bring you too low. That may bring your CACFP checking account balance too low. Okay, that is up to you to decide how to best run your business. If it's going to bring your account balance too low, then you probably shouldn't transfer labor that month. Okay, that all depends upon your unique situations. Reimbursements for labor, again, that needs to be transferred monthly. Okay, but remember, if something happens and you forget to do it monthly, you can't go back past 90 days. Okay, and transfer a large amount. You also can't cross the fiscal year. Okay, so come September, at the end of this month, before you close out, you need to transfer your labor for September. Okay, to where you can, because October 1, we all know, starts off with a new year. Okay, because that's what we're doing right now is you guys are getting us your CNP agreements, your sponsor, facility, and budget applications, and we're going through those now. And then the amount of money transferred to the general account, again, that's what's documented by the timesheets. And only labor transfers can be made for CACFP duties. Okay, so if you have a cook that after lunch goes into goes and sits with classrooms so everyone can take their meal breaks, that is not something that CACFP could be reimbursed for. Okay, so instead of maybe 8 hours a day, maybe it would only be 6 hours a day that could be reimbursed for. That's why we have you list those duties that the program can pay for. Okay, I know several cooks that go make the afternoon bus routes as well. But again, it only pays for CACFP duties. Any questions? Today's topics were very specific, and there was nothing else that I could put or that I really wanted to put today. So we will be ending a little bit early, but don't worry about it. You guys will be receiving the full 1 clock hour credit. If you're watching this, if you're participating live today, okay, if you are watching this as if you're watching this recorded and you did not attend live today, then you will not be receiving the clock